And you know how you can always tell that someone's not telling you the truth about how the rich take care of their money and avoid taxes? They're not telling you the truth anytime they say these words: IRA, 401k, SEP. Guys, they don't have jobs. Why would a rich person have a job? Why would they put money of pittance of $6,000-$7,000 a year into a tax situation of an IRA, but a traditional anything? There's no tax advantage. And besides, they're doing $10 million a month.
Hi, and welcome to Stacks Over Tax. I'm Sterling Grace, and this is Mark Lewis. And today we're going to talk about how people think the rich avoid taxes and what the reality is. All the scheming and misinformation that's out on the internet about everything that has to do with how the 1% are living. Get you up to speed about how it is that you can take advantage of strategies no matter what the bracket that you're in.
Yes, nobody likes clickbait. And even in the financial sector, where you want to be somebody who's going to be rich or somebody who's wealthy or a business owner who's doing 10 million a month or something like this, it's not just any one thing that's going to make you that, but some of these clickbaity YouTube channels that we see or Instagram videos, they're just like, oh, how the rich avoid taxes. Well, first of all, no one avoids taxes. No one. Not legally anyway. So things that say, oh, here's how they get out of paying tax. No, that's a misnomer. And you know what I'm talking about? You see these crazy things all the time.
Constantly. And the funniest thing is they're usually videos by, influencers that are under 30 who have no information whatsoever about family office setups, how trusts work, anything like that. They just have heard something or seen something somewhere and decided to make a video because they know they'll get views off of it.
Yeah. And some of these people are CPAs who learned the minimum they needed to learn about how to do taxes, not actually tax preparation, not tax planning, where, most of the CPAs, and you've even experienced this from our clients, where they're like, oh, yay, you should be happy. You made $10 million this year in profits, and you only have to pay 45% tax. Congratulations. Oh, and here's my bill for $12,000 as a CPA. Yeah, well, that CPA did the bare minimum that they're accustomed to or comfortable doing, didn't actually take into account the fact that there was some really great things that could have been done throughout the year with that business to get their taxes down to below 30%, below 26%, even maybe below 22% tax. And we just see this all the time where, hey, you've got a certificate, you've got a credential, or maybe even you're just a dumb influencer out there going, oh, I've watched some other good videos. But no one is talking about what the rich are really doing, because by and large, if you're talking about taxes and you're a CPA, you're an EA generally, and certainly if you're a tax attorney, you have no idea what the rich are doing because they're not your clients. You know whose clients the rich are? CFOs and people who have been doing this for a long time, who really understand that, oh, you've got $2 billion in assets and those are making money. Guys, we don't put that income into a Roth IRA. We don't put it into a 401k. And you know how you can always tell if someone's not telling you the truth about how the rich take care of their money and avoid taxes? They're not telling you the truth anytime they say these words: IRA, 401k, SEP. Guys, they don't have jobs. Why would a rich person have a job? Why would they put money of pittance of $6,000-$7,000 a year into a tax situation of an IRA that really, Roth is okay, but a traditional anything, there's no tax advantage. And besides, they're doing $10 million a month. Why would they even waste the time to put it into an IRS-backed security situation? That's just nonsense. Anybody who talks about an IRA, a 401k, or some kind of IRS-backed retirement situation has no idea how the rich do it, and in fact are peddling either their services, which is fine, you can do that. We're all here to do capitalistic things, or they're actually peddling strategies that are meant to keep the people poor who have jobs, who are small business owners, who are medium-sized business owners. And, Sterling, we see all the time the small to medium-sized business owners. Those are our peeps. Have you experienced a 401k or an IRA, or that this is what the rich are doing and how these people are benefiting?
Never. Never, never, never. In fact, the only people that ever still have their 401s are people that started off as a W-2 employee and they just left it because they weren't sure what to do with it. That's one of the questions they always ask us of like, what do I do with this thing now? And should I figure out how to cash it out? Or but never, never part of their actual wealth strategy at all.
Yeah. You bring up a really great point, which is they come to us and they're usually like, can I do anything with this? How old are you? Right. That's my first question, because you can't really take it out without some kind of penalty unless you're 59 and a half. And anybody who says to me they're 50 or older, just leave it. Just leave it, because you only have a few more years. You can take it out and, whatevs. Unless you said, oh, I really want to use that and create a new small business. Well, then the ROBS program is a thing. And we've talked about that before. But if you're under 50, dude, and obviously if you're going to stay at your job, I can't help you there. And having a job isn't bad. Especially in your 20s and 30s, it's a really great way to accumulate wealth and get some skills and relationships. I'm never going to knock a job early on if that's your choice, and it's fine. But if you're 40 years old and you've got a few $100,000 in an IRA or a 401k, just take it out. Take the tax hit. It's only 10%. Because I'm not going to get into it now because we want to talk about how rich people do things, but we've talked before about how anything traditional IRA, 401k has zero tax benefits, especially if you're investing. The capital gains tax long-term is the best taxation in the code, but that's not what you're going to get taxed on. You're going to get taxed for all the income that you made and all the principal that you put into it at the worst possible tax rate when you take it out, not capital gains tax, even though it was capital gains. Much better just to blow that up, blow up your 401k, put it into the markets, leave it in there and accumulate until you're 59 and a half, and you'll have a way better tax treatment. Anyway, so these are the kind of fallacies that we see. And, guys that are CPAs and attorneys, and some of them are, very obvious, who we might be talking about, always with their trifecta systems, or they're, in the middle of it is some kind of 401k IRA scenario. Guys, this is not for the rich. The rich don't do this. They invest. They don't squander or squirrel away money into IRS programs, which, by the way, they'll change on a whim. We just saw that 2 years ago. Your IRA, your 401k are just no longer available to do generational wealth because of the requirements of all of that money to be distributed back to you within 10 years after you pass. It's just nuts. And you Roth people think that isn't going to change for you. It's on the whim of Congress. And they'll change it in a whim if it's politically expedient for them, for the corporations, not to you.
If you're loving what you're learning today, make sure you click the subscribe button below and ring the bell so that you get all the notifications when we release new videos.
Which brings us to what we do. Incorporating what the 10, 11, 12-figure corporations do down to the small and medium-sized business owners. And from that knowledge, we do know what the rich do. And we talk about all the time the strategies that the rich deploy in order to not avoid taxes, because no one can avoid taxes, but to not earn income.
Right.
That is the first thing you have to understand about rich people. They don't avoid taxes. They just don't earn income. Why would you want to earn income? Earning income is the worst possible tax scenario, asset protection scenario, and legacy preservation scenario. It's attached to you. You can't get rid of the filth of its taxable nature, and then the government come tax it when they take it away after you pass. Instead, we've been taught you should solve your money problems by earning more money. We were taught from the boomers on, and even the greatest generation, which is before, the more money you make, the better your life will be. That's the American dream. Work hard, earn money, mom's apple pie, and all that. But that's in a generation where they didn't have, I know it's hard to imagine, they did not have the tax that we have now. They did not have a graduated tax system that goes up to 37% just on the federal side. For some of you making $1 million a year and you live in a blue state, you're paying almost 50%. And if you're doing it through self-employment income, well above 50% tax. And some of you are feeling that pain. That's earned income. And so when we say, what are the rich doing? Anything that services earned income, we have to throw out because the rich don't care about earned income because they're not making it. Why would they do that? We were told to earn more money so that we can pay the bills and invest what's left. The rich are taught, take your money and invest it, and from the investment income, pay your bills, and then have companies and corporations pay bills that they can legitimately pay. So you don't have to earn any money personally. And then we take all of our stuff and we move it away from us, not into trusts, unless they don't make money. But if they do make money, we move them into corporate structures, multi-member LLCs, C corporations, from which we can control the flow of tax away from us into a corporate structure where your taxation can be limited, severely limited to below 22%. Meanwhile, whatever little money you need to live, hopefully very small because your corporations are paying for legitimate expenses, your investments are paying for everything else. The rest of it comes through, as long as it's more than $80,000 a year, an S corporation where the self-employment tax is being stripped and the 20% tax-free deduction from the qualified business income deduction is applied. You take a little salary and now you're set up. The millions that you can make every month are now taxed at a fixed rate, managed away from you so that if you got sued or they got sued, there's no interconnection. This is how the rich, they don't avoid taxes, they just don't earn money. And until the internet and Instagram and all these guys who are CPAs who are trained on how to deal with people who actually earn money, who can never be rich. You can never be rich earning money. I know it sounds bizarre, but you can't. If you're earning money, yes, your IRA, your Roth IRA perhaps might be a solution. Yes, your HSA is a solution. Yes, the Rob's program is a solution for you, but you're not anywhere going to be making the kind of money or generating the kind of wealth that a true wealthy person is because you're earning it. And earning is always going to be taken away from you at the maximum rate. Not to mention you had to transfer your personal time on the planet, which is non-renewable, into money, depreciating money day by day, thanks to inflation, and then that gets taxed. But in investments, whether it's real estate or stocks and bonds, all of the investments that you can make into business, turning over your money, that's where you start making money that pays your bills at a much lower tax rate. And so to sum all this up, the best way to avoid taxes is to simply not earn money.
Wow. Okay, that's going to give people a lot to think about. And definitely drop your comments below and let us know what you think about all that. And we look forward to having more of these conversations about how to create wealth for both yourself now and generations to come. And if you loved everything you heard here today and want more, make sure you click the subscribe button below and ring that bell, hit our like button, and then check out the next video.